Okay, we're back. All right, in this lesson, we're going to take a look at 3 delivery methods for striking. And I'm going to continue using this palm heel strike that we've introduced in this week, right? For this part of the Foundations program. You could replace it with a hammer fist. You could replace it with a normal clenched fist, straight punch kind of thing, or any of the fists that we could give you later on down the line if you stay on with the program. But what we're going to take a look at are 3 delivery methods. The delivery method is one of 4 variables in the delivery of a strike. Okay, when we combine those, each method or each variable, right, in this case delivery, each variable has 3 aspects to it. Okay, so I'll let you know what this one is, but when we will also have range, right? Let's see, was it was this week, right? So there's a range drill that we're giving you. Okay, lead, cross, or not lead, close, mid, and long range, right? That we took a look at just briefly, right? That's another variable. Okay, there's level, right? High, mid, and low. Those kind of things, right? There's delivery or striking angle, right? Piercing, clubbing, hooking. Those kind of things, right? So that gives us 4 variables. It gives us 12 elements, right? 12 basics, okay? So 4 variables, 3 aspects of each variable. If we were to combine them, right, for any given fist, right, we would then end up with 81 different ways to throw any given fist, okay? So well, we have to start somewhere. So let's not get overwhelmed by numbers, okay? So today we're going to take a look at delivery method, right? Delivery method is in how we're delivering the fist to the target, okay? And so a lot of people know these as jab, hook, uppercut, those kind of things, right? So we're not going to talk about hooks and whatnot because to me that's an angle, all right? What we're going to take a look at is delivering a hand and 3 different ways to get it out there, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 key terms: lead, cross, and lunge. Okay, lunges are used by some martial arts, not typical in the Western conventional toolbox, right? Which is what leads people to always say things like nobody fights that way, that would never work on the street or whatever. But again, everything is in context. Okay, now we tend to use the term lead and not jab, because a jab from a boxer's strategy toolbox has a specific kind of connotation, right? It's this jabbing, poking kind of thing. It's really designed as a setup to deliver the power side, right? So they talk about lead hand, jabbing hand, and power hand, right? What I want to look at is the lead, the cross, and the lunge are all delivered to produce power, but they could also be delivered as a setup, okay? So we want to see them as equal. What's different is how they fit into different ranges, which will naturally cross over. Okay, so we'll talk about range here in a minute because it's a little, again, the way we look at it is a little bit different than the way most people do, and that's a good thing because if you think of things and do things the same way everybody else does, then he already knows what you're going to do. Okay, so we need to be outside the box, but we also need to understand the box. Okay, so a lead is where I'm delivering the strike, not just with my lead hand, but the lead leg is proactive. So when I say lead, I'm talking about the lead side of the body is doing the work, okay? Not just the hand, okay? So I will either flex my lead knee to move my torso in. Remember, body weight behind the strike, not big muscles, right? That allows us little guys to do the same thing, right? So lead knee and hip, and lead hand. Okay, so there's that palm strike, right? Straight out this way. Okay, so lead is lead leg, lead hand. Doesn't matter if we're doing it this way or we're shuffling. So lead side is doing the work. Cross, now again, if we assume that we know what's going on, then we're more likely to believe that what I'm about to talk about is a boxer's cross, like a right cross, right? Where we're punching across the body. That's this big hooking cross body kind of thing where we're referencing how I'm intersecting his body. That's not what I'm talking about. when I talk about cross, what I mean is I'm using parts cross body from each other. So lead leg, rear arm. So from here, I'm doing the knee, okay? The knee goes and the rear hand goes out. Please notice that I'm striking on the center line. I'm moving straight down instead of hooking, because again, my limbs are not just weapons, they're also shields at the same time, okay? So I'm not giving up a shield to deliver a strike. The weapon is a shield the whole time it's in action, right? It's a shield the whole time it's in action. Keeps the ribs covered, elbows down, that kind of thing, okay? So what I'm doing is shifting into strike, okay? If I shuffle, it's the same thing. So a cross is lead leg, rear arm, okay? Could it be rear leg, lead arm? Sure, depending on where I am and what I'm meeting. But what I want you to get is this idea that there's certain principles that are not violated, okay? At least not now, okay? So lead leg, lead arm. Cross, lead leg, rear arm, okay? Lunge, rear leg, rear arm, move to lead position. Full body strike, okay? So here, straight in, okay? So 3 delivery methods all deliver with power. So we're not just doing something because it's supposed to set the guy up, hoping that it does so my power hand can finish things. This lead hand, jarring shot. Cross hand, jarring shot. Lunge, same kind of thing. The difference is in the range, okay? And you'll see this in the range drill that we do in another lesson, right? Most people associate the lead hand with a close range strike because it's out there closer to him. But he could be too close. Okay? If I can't get this to 2/3 to 3/4 extended on impact, no matter how big my muscles are, the strike doesn't have the same kind of damage. That's one of the aspects of this. When I'm striking, I want the striking surface of the weapon to hit the target when the arm is 2/3 to 3/4 extended. That's closer to anatomically straight, so I can get this drive-through, follow-through kind of thing that's in there. We'll talk about that way down the line, okay? But for right now, most people associate this. I'm not sure where they associate the rear hand because of, the knockout. They got to stall this guy, keep him in place, right? But if we look at the dynamic and the way the body's set up, the lead hand, if I flex my knee, lead hand goes all the way out to here. So look at something on the far side of the room as to what my hand is lined up with, like that one striking target. See that edge right there? Okay, from right there. If I do the same flex and reach out with my rear hand, I don't get close enough to that, okay? So my cross is actually the close range strike. The lead is the mid-range strike. And of course, the lunge then is the long range strike because it knocked him off balance. He's stumbling and I'm going to chase him down. Okay, typically not going to use a lunge if he's standing there waiting and ready. Okay, so 3 delivery methods, right? Lead leg, lead arm, same time. Okay, cross, lead leg, rear arm. So cross body, okay? Again, still a straight shot, same time. And then lunge all the way through. Okay, that's it. See you next lesson.